Australia's sixth Prime Minister, Joseph Cooke, was born to a very poor coal mining family from Staffordshire, England. He left school at the tender age of 9 to work in the mines to support his family after his father died. In 1885, Cooke and his wife emigrated to the New South Wales town of Lithgow to again work as a coal miner. Although first elected to the New South Wales Parliament as a union leader and a member of the Labor League, he split from the Labor Party. The Labor Members of Parliament, called the caucus, voted on a policy. Once the majority had decided on that policy, all members of the caucus had to vote the same way. Cooke disagreed. He left the Labor Party. He stood and won his seat as an independent, later joining the Conservative government of New South Wales Premier George Reid. Joseph Cooke was elected to the first Australian Parliament in 1901 as a member of Reid's Free Trade Party. Spending much of his career in opposition, he was a fierce debater and not known for his sense of humour. After George Reid resigned from Parliament, Cooke became leader of the Free Trade Party and joined with Alfred Deakin to form the anti-Labor coalition, the Commonwealth Liberals. Cooke became Prime Minister in 1913 when his Liberal coalition defeated Andrew Fisher's Labor Party in the general election. But that election was so close he could only pass legislation with the casting vote of the Speaker of the House. He orchestrated a double dissolution election in 1914, but lost it badly and was back in opposition. He later became Minister of the Navy and Treasurer in Billy Hughes's government, staying in Parliament until 1921. When he left, he was made Australia's High Commissioner to London. Few other Australian political leaders have been so loved or loathed as Australia's seventh Prime Minister, Billy Hughes. He represented 4 different political parties, 3 of which threw him out. Born in London, England, he emigrated to Brisbane in 1884 after qualifying as a teacher. He later moved to Sydney and became involved in the union movement. Elected as a Labor member for the state of New South Wales and in 1901 for the first National Parliament. He was a member of Cabinet in the first Labor government under Watson and the second under Andrew Fisher. Hughes's drive and ambition led to clashes with Prime Minister Fisher. Fisher resigned in 1915 partly from the pressure of leading the country in World War I and partly from the growing divisions inside the Labor Party. Hughes was elected to lead Labor, and as leader of the party in office, he became Prime Minister. Hughes put his drive and boundless energy into the war effort. The war seemed to have no greater supporter. Hughes tried to introduce conscription, making it illegal for young men not to join the armed forces. The campaign to introduce conscription caused one of the biggest splits in public opinion in Australia's history. Although the majority of the Labor Party opposed conscription, Hughes took the idea to a referendum. The referendum in 1916 was narrowly defeated. For going against its wishes, Hughes was thrown out of the Labor Party. With other former Labor Party members and the opposition, Hughes formed a new Nationalists Party. This party had a majority in Parliament and he continued on as Prime Minister. He again tried to introduce conscription in 1917 but lost by a greater margin. Hughes won elections with his Nationalist Party in 1917 and again in 1919, but by 1922 he had lost support of his own party and was replaced by Stanley Bruce. Hughes stayed on in Parliament. In all, he was a Member of Parliament for 51 years. He helped found 3 political parties, the Labor Party, the Nationalist Party and the United Australia Party, and was thrown out of all 3. He ended his life as a member of the Liberal Party. Born to a wealthy family in Melbourne, Stanley Bruce, Australia's 8th Prime Minister, was educated in Melbourne Grammar and sent to England, where he got a law degree from Cambridge University. On his return to Australia, he was made chairman of the family firm, but Bruce sailed back to England at the outbreak of World War I and was made a captain in the Royal Fusiliers. He was wounded in Gallipoli, and again in France, he was awarded the Military Cross. Bruce entered federal parliament in a by-election in 1918 for the Nationalist Party of Billy Hughes. Within 3 years, he was made Treasurer and replaced Billy Hughes as Prime Minister in 1923. Lucky to have come to power in the post-war boom, the economy grew. He could concentrate on a coalition with the rural-based Country Party of Earl Page. This agreement was a forerunner to the modern coalition between the Liberal Party and the Nationals. It proved a recipe for success. Bruce, with the support of the Country Party, won elections in 1925 and 1928. But as the economy started to stumble, his government took an aggressive approach to industrial relations. Bitter strikes pushed his government to a crushing defeat when they went to an early election in 1929. He had become so unpopular that he was the first Australian Prime Minister to lose his own seat in an election, which has only happened twice in over 100 years.